Well, hello my peeps, it's Antoinette here, and we're going to make lasagna. So I got this recipe from mouthwateringmotivation.com, and it was really irritating because look, I have a book here because the website does not allow you to print out the recipe. You have to print out the whole darn thing. 23 pages. I just didn't want to write it all down. So we're making like real keto noodles, and I'm doing this because I do plan on making the lasagna out of my pasta maker, but I want something to compare it to, because normally whenever I make lasagna I just, make the zucchini noodles for that. This is essentially zero carb noodles. And the carbulose flour that we're going to make out of the pasta machine, that's going to be more like 5 to 8. That's going to be much higher in carbs. I originally have this recipe set up for a small, little bread loaf pan. But I feel like, if you're going to make something like lasagna, make a full batch. It was very easy to double this. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put it in a regular pan. Okay, first things first. We're going to put in the whole block of the Philly cream cheese. This is very room temperature. It's been out for several hours. 1 block of cream cheese in the bowl. I'm giving you the measurements for my double batch. Okay, so then we have 4 eggs. 4 eggs in. Then we have a 1/2 cup of the grated, the dry Kraft Parmesan. And then a 1/2 cup of the shredded Parmesan. I have the Kirkland Parmesan Reggiano shredded. Then in here, I have 2 1/2 cups of cheese. I have 1 1/4 cup of Kraft mozzarella cheese. And then here I have the 6 Italian. This is just the Roundy's brand. So 1 1/4 cups of each. All right, just gonna mix it before I add the spices. It's pretty easy to mix as long as that cream cheese is soft. Okay, that's good. A 1/2 teaspoon of basil, 1/2 teaspoon oregano, 1/4 teaspoon garlic powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then a pinch of marjoram, thyme, and rosemary. So you use your best judgment with the spices. You know what you like. That's not what I'm going to use. I'm using my Gourmet Collection pasta herb spice blend. It has all of that plus a little bit more. It has in it, red bell pepper, onion, basil, parsley, oregano, rosemary, sage, garlic, black pepper, celery seed, marjoram, thyme, and coriander and chives, but salt-free. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of this to my batch, and then I'm going to have to add salt. The Flavor God, have you heard of it? Yeah, in a Facebook group people are raving about this spice, so I bought 8. Yes, I did. Alright, so I'm going to use about a 1/4 teaspoon of that and 2 teaspoons of the seasoning. Kind of heaping. See, to me, this might have a lot more flavor than, I mean, noodles don't have any flavor. It's everything you add to it, so I don't know. We'll see if this is better than the lasagna noodles made with the pasta machine. I will do that in the next coming weeks. It will look pretty much like this. There's supposed to be something about the pink peppercorn in here that's just an amazing health benefit. That's what they say anyway. I'm using my big old sheet pan. What is it, quarter sheet? 3/4 sheet. Because I'm doubling this recipe and I want to make sure that I have it spread out thin enough. So, yeah, because they were using a 9x13 pan, I believe. I'm just going to spread this out. I have foil on the bottom so that I can, you know, have control over the size of the pasta sheets. And then I have parchment on top. I need to preheat that oven. Okay, so you bake it at 375. They're saying in the 9x13, so that's for that little small half batch. With tin foil sprayed or on parchment paper. I'm doing both. Okay, without a doubt, this is the step that you need to have the most patience for. I do highly recommend that you use a little spatula, or definitely a spatula. The spoon did not work. So far the noodles have been in the oven for about 20 minutes. And yeah, it's slowly getting there. But I thought I would get the meat sauce going. I'm gonna use the Instant Pot here. Of course you could do it on the stove, but I have 2 pounds of 80/20 ground beef. I'm gonna put that in there. I cut up with my Vidalia Wizard some chopped onion. I have 1.5 cups. It was 1 medium white onion. We'll be back once the ground beef is sauteed down. I did drain the meat. I just spooned it out with my slotted spoon. That's the easiest way to do it. And then dump that and put the meat back in the pan. Okay, the beef and onions are done. Now we're going to add the spices. Now I will tell you, the recipe calls for green pepper, but I don't like adding green pepper to dishes. I try not to, because every time you add green pepper to a dish, the whole dish smells like green pepper, or tastes like green pepper. So I am going to add this 10-ounce thawed out spinach to it. This is not in the recipe, but I'm going to add that. So here's my spinach. I'm going to drain it. I'm going to add the spinach and the spices and cook it down a little bit. Now, it also calls for a clove of garlic, and I realize that I'm completely out of garlic, so I am going to use some of my garlic juice. It does the same thing. The spinach is in. Next, let's see, a little bit of garlic juice. I like this. I get this at Kroger's. This, you see it? Garlic juice. Howard's garlic juice. This stuff is great in a pinch. Like right now. I'm just eyeballing it and I'm just gonna, ooh, that's good. Okay, and then the spices, let's see. It's the same thing, you know, the oregano, the basil that we did before. So I'm just going to put in 2 teaspoons of my pasta herb splice blend. Oops, I forgot. This is optional. crushed red pepper. I'm gonna put a little in. Well, there's the noodles. It looks pretty darn good. It did take 25 minutes, so that's great. Next, it says to put in the refrigerator for about 20-30 minutes. I don't have any room in there, so I'm just gonna go put it in the freezer for a bit. While that's cooking, I've got my beautiful noodles here, and they really are great. So, yeah, you can pick it up. So I got my pizza cutter, and now this is my lasagna pan. This was actually a wedding gift from my mother. Yeah, back in the day. Lasts forever. She bought it from Sears. She told me that the pots and pans were probably going to last longer than my marriage. She was right. Oh, I'm taking my pan to determine the length of my noodles. I'm going to have to chop down the edges a bit. Alright, we'll see how this goes. I'll just slice it this way to long strips. I'm going to save this edge here so that I can make a long strip since I used the big pan. Stuck to my foil. There we go. Alright, so I have this nice long strip. Then the rest of these I will chop into noodle size lasagna noodles. Here's a little look at my noodles. And, I mean, they look great. And my meat mixture. And we'll be using Rao's for the sauce. Let's put it together. First, we're going to, oh my God. Oh, I just mopped the floor. Okay, we're going to spoon some Rao's. We're going to use about 3 cups. Some sauce on the bottom. There we go. Okay, just put a little sauce on the bottom, and then a first set of noodles. All right, I'm gonna try to be a little conservative with my noodles here. And then the meat sauce. It's a little warm. So about 1/3. I really think what's going to happen here is it's going to be 2 layers and the top layer of noodles with the cheese, basil, and sauce. Okay, that's about even. All right, now that Rao's is good. Paper towel. I got my floor cleaned up. Next, I'm going to grab a little mixture of cheese. Here's the 6 Italian, about a 1/4 cup on top. I'm going to dollop some, it calls for cottage cheese, but I like ricotta. I have 12 tablespoons in here, and that pretty much came out to a cup. I'm just going to dollop these on here. I need to preheat the oven again. I'm gonna cook it stick with my 350 because I like to cook this low and slow. So I put 6 little dollops on here. It looks like this amount of noodles did work out just fine. The top is going to have more than the middle layer did. Okay, I'm going to use the rest of the meat. Perfect. Perfect amount. So this layer is going to have a lot more cheese. All right, yeah. First, I'm going to use the rest of the Rayo's. 1 jar is definitely sufficient. Beautiful. Smells really good in here. Okay, perfect. Good, I'm really glad that I didn't have to open up that second jar of Rayo's. So I've got the mozzarella. I'm going to use the rest of this. And then a bit of that, a bit of the 6 Italian cheese. That's mozzarella, provolone, Asiago, Parmesan, Romano, and Fontina. I think I'm going to just load that all on there. I was going to add some Parmesan, but it's already in here. That's all of the cheese. Looks great. Okay. This is definitely a lasagna pan because it fits perfectly. Now, last thing I'm going to do is just top it with some organic. I got this Kirkland. Well, here it is. My camera died at the last minute there. I don't know. It says set focal length. So I don't know, I'll have to look into that. But here it is, going in the oven. I'm gonna take that battery out and see if that helps. We'll see you when it comes out of the oven. About 20 to 30 minutes. Let's take a look. Ooh. Yeah, that looks pretty darn good. I'm just gonna turn the oven off. Well, the lasagna has been sitting out here for about a half an hour now, and it's setting up quite nicely. And I'm gonna try to, I'm trying to do this with my cell phone, now that my camera died. There it is. I got a piece out. It's still steaming away. Looks good. So it's a good thing that I'm on vacation because I'm going to have to pull out my manual and see what's up. I think I'm going to sit in front of YouTube and see if I can find any solutions there. But I'm going to take a bite of this because right now I'm just stuck with my cell phone. Okay, I've got a fork now. And I'm gonna take a bite. Wow. This is really delicious. The noodles have so much flavor. It's really good. All right, I'm gonna chop up a bunch more here. I'm probably going to have like 2 plates of this. Well, it's a small plate. These noodles are really fabulous. This is a delicious dish. I apologize for having to end my video this way, but I have to tell you, This is fabulous. Oh, all right. Once I get my camera figured out, well, within the next couple of weeks or so, we will try the pasta maker lasagna and see how that goes. But oh my gosh, this is really delicious and worth all the work. We'll see you next time.